these are both the same, these units. They just have different metal fabrication. And so the procedure is quite simple. Turn the incoming water pressure off. If you have the unit connected to a float valve and a tank, you can depressurize this side of the unit by pushing the float valve down, releasing pressure, and the water will spit out this way. If you've got one of these commercial float valves, just push up on the rubber diaphragm. That will release pressure on the output side. So to remove the pre-filters from a Little Boss or Little Boss Deluxe, simply put the filter wrench around the pre-filters and turn it counterclockwise. To break the filters loose, once they're loose, you can just spin them off. Like so. And this one as well. You can put the head down. So simply remove the sediment filter and remove the carbon filter that it comes with. These sumps inevitably are going to get dirty, especially if you don't change the filters in time. So you're welcome to put a little dish soap in there, wash them out. You can use your hand, you can use a brush. These are nice and big so you can get your whole hand in there. And just clean them out, dump them, give them a good rinse. Don't pump soap into the carbon filter. Do the same thing with the carbon sump as well. Clean it out. When you're ready, just put a new sediment filter in. Put a brand new carbon filter in. On these units, you're going to want to make sure you put some silicone grease, this food grade stuff that we assemble it with, on the O-rings. If these filters aren't changed in a timely manner, or if this is connected to a really hard, scaly water supply, these can be kind of welded. They become welded together and it can be a little tough to get them off. But if you have enough silicone lube on it, it's going to be very easy to get off. And if you don't have this stuff, it's available on our website. You can use a little bit of olive oil or vegetable oil. Not the best thing to use, but it works. And do the same thing with the carbon filter. The carbon filters have these gaskets on the top. If it's a KDF, it's got a black gasket. Put a little silicone on there too, because this is going to want to spin against these big pre-filter caps, and I put a little lube on that as well. And simply thread them back on. Big blues go together pretty easy. Once you get them tight, you can hand tighten these, but these, unlike the other filter sumps that we have in the smaller ROs and the mini scrub and the slim scrub, these I recommend using a filter wrench to tighten them. Don't over tighten them, but once you can tighten them by hand and they stop, then about a quarter turn. And you're good to go. Now the same exact procedure is going to apply to the Little Boss Deluxe, except you'll have to just get it from around the back side, like so. And you can get the filter wrench in here and loosen them up and tighten them. Real simple thing. I love this unit. How it rolls around in that chassis. It's great. One thing I should mention about the filter options for these units, there's a lot of them. And there's other videos in the tech section on carbon filters where we explain all the differences in carbon and sediment filters, and you can get a lot more information there. But in short, I'm going to review it here. We have 3 choices of carbon, 2 choices of sediment. So these units ship stock with a spun polypropylene sediment filter. It's really the preferred sediment filter for these. You will get more pressure drop though, because these are thick filters and water has to move through the whole filter. So if pressure is an issue for you, which it almost never is on a scrubber because it's not feeding an RO membrane, which is where we experience big pressure drop, then the spun filter can hold a lot of dirt, and it's really inexpensive. It's a great filter to use. But if you have a pressure issue, you can always go to a pleated filter. One other cool thing about the pleated filters is they come in a 0.35 micron. So if you really want to block the smallest particles you can, 0.35 is the smallest pleated sediment made. And that really will be a pre-filter that will block a lot of stuff. Pleateds, however, don't have a lot of surface, don't have a lot of depth to them. It's basically a paper towel, in a sense. It looks like a paper towel. And it's really thin. And the water just goes through it this way and the particles get blocked, as opposed to the thick core of a spun poly filter. The great thing about pleateds, though, is they don't have any pressure drop virtually. The smaller micron size the pleated, the more pressure drop you're going to get, but you hardly ever experience pressure drop in a pleated filter. So if pressure is an issue, you can always use these. On the carbon side of things, it's the same old story. We've got two coconut versions, which are great for chlorine reduction, 99% of chlorine reduction. You can get the white carbon or the Eco Green carbon. The green one is just made with a manufacturing process that's a lot more environmentally friendly, less greenhouse gas emission. But they both perform the same. And if you want the supreme carbon, it's the KDF85. This is a thick bed of highly activated catalytic carbon with a small bed of KDF85 at the bottom. This is the Primo carbon. The great combination for this unit, my favorite combination, is a spun poly sediment and a KDF85 carbon. That makes a Little Boss or Little Boss Deluxe a mean little dechlorinator scrubber.